Welcome to The Younger Me, a 10-part interview video series where we feature some of our very own VetTech alumni students who are currently working in various professional fields. We hope that these videos will give you a glimpse of the possibilities after you graduate for you to set bigger and bolder goals. Enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Dear Younger Me. My name is Nigel.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we have Valerie with us. Hello Valerie.
Hi.
Valerie is an assistant curator at ELSS Engineering, am I correct?
Yes, correct.
So happy to have you with us today. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please give us like a brief introduction of who you are, what you've done in the past maybe?
Okay, so basically I'm an alumni. I graduated 2010. I was the first batch of VetTech to start studying VetTech diploma and also to graduate. And then after that, I had quite a bit of adventure. I've worked in a mix of vet clinics and also public aquariums. Then I've worked in both Singapore and also overseas, but mainly Southeast Asia. And most recently, I am in Bahrain now, doing like a pre-opening for a small public aquarium.
Okay, so you're in Bahrain, right, as you said. What exactly like do you have to do there, like for your day-to-day job?
Well, so because now we are just opening, so it's a bit more interesting in the sense where we were preparing the exhibit for receiving of animals and also training of new staff on how to take care of them. And also troubleshooting, like with a new place, there will be issues that will come up that we will need to resolve with because this aquarium is inside a mall, so we'll have to resolve it with like different suppliers. But day to day it will be going to work, checking on the animals, feeding them, and then doing some other enrichment stuff for the animals, cleaning exhibits, diving.
You're working a lot with like aquariums and stuff, right? Would you consider yourself a aquarist or what would you call yourself?
Definitely an aquarist at heart, because that's what I mainly do, deal with aquatic animals, to be specific, more of fishes and teleost and elasmobranchial fishes, bony fishes, and sharks and rays.
What is like the main difference between what you did in the VetTech diploma and as an aquarist?
Well, it's more of, as an aquarist, maybe you would get to do more dirty work or wet work, as in like doing diving, and more technical stuff to learn about their life support system. So it's not just biology for animals as well. So in VetTech, we learned about like lab animals, science, biology, and all that. But as an aquarist, it's an extension to it. There is the biology part, the science part, but then there's also technical parts on how to build aquarium, how to troubleshoot the life support systems you need to know, how pumps work, how to troubleshoot, and then how to do pipe fittings and stuff like that. It's a lot more, which I find interesting to me. Yeah.
So it's like more hands-on basically.
Yeah, a lot more.
So like, how did that like background in VetTech help you in your jobs now?
So in VetTech, how did it help me? In a way, what I do now, there are still things that are relevant, because animals get sick as well. So we also need to do treatments and stuff. The principles are pretty much the same. So what I learned in VetTech, it's being put to use. And what I do now, it's the same applications and stuff.
In that case, what made you want to change from the traditional VetTech veterinarian route to the aquarist route?
It was just out of interest sake. So it wasn't an intentional change. It was more of accidental. So after I came out of, after I finished my diploma, I did some time in a vet clinic. Then I tried applying for a position in zoo. And somehow or other, the curator that was at River Safari then contacted me to ask me if I wanted to be an aquarist with them. But I think it's mainly because of my internship at Underwater World, and it's mainly aquarist duty as well, it's sort of related. And then from then on, I kind of just moved on from one job to another as an aquarist.
So beforehand, like you've told us through email that you work a few times overseas, right? Or like study overseas.
Yeah, I've done a few jobs overseas, and I did my bachelor's degree in zoology in Massey University in New Zealand.
So what is it like studying in a new environment and all these things?
It was fun, I tell you. It's a out of the world experience, but because New Zealand is a very nice place. But to be honest, I chose it because it had a vet school there, so there were good facilities for learning animal-based topics. And then it was a good place, and during semester you work hard, and then during semester breaks it was very nice to travel around. And being overseas alone without your parents around, you just be independent and you learn a lot of things. It's a very different experience from studying at home when you're studying overseas, and especially in New Zealand, it's pretty, very, very surreal and very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite experience in, let's say, studying in New Zealand or studying overseas, working overseas?
My favorite experience is probably meeting new people and exploring whenever I can. Maybe not so much of exploring during work because you're quite busy with work and not so much of fun time. But school, you always want to have some fun.
Yeah.
And you can afford to have some fun in some way. Yeah, but it's definitely meeting new people and creating new experiences that you don't get at home. That's probably the most fun experience that I have.
So like moving on, I think it says here that you'll be involved in manta ray training, right?
Yeah. During my time in Resorts World, I did a bit of manta ray training. During my time there.
So like what exactly like does this training like do they do tricks or just teach them to behave, or like what's happening there?
Also, it's not like dogs and cats where you do tricks for the sake of entertainment and stuff, but for animals like manta ray or a lot of exotic animals, we do training mainly for the purpose of health inspection, because they are so big and sometimes handling them is very stressful both to the animals and to ourselves, to the handlers. So we train them such that it is a less stressful method to do regular checks on them, or sometimes we do interaction also. To the interaction trains them to stay in a position for a certain amount of time, and also for them to be comfortable with human interaction, such that when there is a need to do any treatments, then it's easier for us. It's already a routine for them.
So it's like training so they know that what is happening is not putting them in danger, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just having a routine there.
Okay.
You mentioned that like in your email that you worked at S.E.A Aquarium pre-opening till post-opening, and when the committee was looking at the questions, we got a bit confused, like what does that mean? So do you want to tell us what that means? Pre-opening versus post-opening, what's the difference? Pre-opening versus post-opening, what's the difference?
Pre-opening and post-opening. So basically pre-opening is before the aquarium is open to the public, and then post-opening is after, when all the animals are in. So there's quite a bit of difference in terms of the work that needs to be done. So pre-opening, there's a lot of preparation work. So 90% of the time is preparing the exhibit, the environment for the animal to be right for them. and also getting all the supplies that I needed, like medications and food for them. It has to be brought in before we get the animal. So it's probably like 1 month or 2 months before opening, then that we get to do any interaction or we receive the animals. But because Resort World was a very big place, so it took us like the pre-opening period was up to 2 years, but it was only maybe a few months before opening when the animal starts coming in. And then post-opening, you get guests coming, and then you start having guest interaction, feeding shows, and you need to clean the exhibits more to maintain the exhibit so that it's clean and nice for guests to see.
So like you
Yeah.
mentioned, like very holistic, like not just animals, not just science, but like a lot of like hands-on maintenance.
Yeah, it's a lot of hands-on things, and you learn things that you don't expect yourself learning. Like, to give you an example, I had to take a forklift license because of the amount of animals that, you know what a forklift is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the amount of animals that we were receiving, and it's all water weight, it's very heavy. So
Oh yeah.
we went for forklift license, we had a forklift so that we could unload the animals and then pack them and ship them and stuff like that. So these are additional skills that you learn along the way that you wouldn't expect to learn, and it's skills that you keep with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never really expected to.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I start driving a forklift and people were like, "What? Like, you're a woman, why do you know how to drive a forklift? Why do you need to know?" So, we have different reasons for doing certain stuff and learning certain stuff.
There are SIP and MP students doing their internships right now.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for them who are moving on to the workforce soon? Like finding out what they want to do next, or something like that?
So my advice for them moving on to the workforce soon is just go out and learn. Don't be too pampered. If they ask you to do something, just do it. And if you have any questions, just ask. So, you learn from being hands-on. You don't learn from just not doing anything. And also, if you are able to show people that you are capable in terms of doing things, then, from there, you never know what comes next. Like, you may get permanent job offers, or people would see that you're doing a good job. They want you on the team as a permanent member, not just an intern, and they value your work. And from there, you progress faster, and you have a better work progression. Yeah. Don't rush to get into a career and stress yourself too much. Just enjoy what you are doing and be honest with yourself. It's like, if you really don't enjoy it, then don't force yourself in doing it. There's no joy in doing it. What I find important is you must have joy, you must enjoy, and you must learn along the way.
For like these students, right, who want to maybe follow in your footsteps and like be a zoology major, like what can they expect, like in terms of modules or projects, or like are there any misconceptions?
So zoology, I'm not sure about misconceptions, but I think that people may think that you would be going there learning how to be a zookeeper, or you just work with like fluffy animals, mammals, and stuff like that. But it's quite a broad major. So to give you an idea, a few modules that I took were like vertebrate zoology, so study of animals with backbone in vertebrate zoology. And then it proceeded on to studying entomology and ornithology. So entomology is study of insects, and ornithology is study of birds. And I have to tell you, I had no interest in birds, but I thought the ornithology paper. Yeah, so there's a lot of modules that you can choose. I mean, there's a limited amount, but you still have a choice to select a field that you want to take. On top of all the science and biology and wildlife things that you learn, they will teach you a lot of like research skills and paper writing skills, which you don't really expect to do. I did quite a bit of paper, like we did experiments and then we had to churn out reports on a weekly basis. So you do a lot of it, which I find that it will be useful if you are going to stay in this field and probably do some research or conservation in the future.
Okay, again, for these students, like, what do you think they have to, like, what traits should they have to like be suited for the industry?
They basically need to be down to do dirty work. It's not always clean and stuff, and also it's hard work. It takes effort. You need to be physically fit, mentally fit to be able to do stuff, and to be inquisitive to learn, and not just by asking people but also doing self-reading, looking up on the internet about like all the different stuff. I did a lot of Googling and asking questions and reading papers about different stuff that I encountered along the way. And also, when you meet people, you just try to stay connected with them and make friends with them. You never know where they'll bring you and how they can help you. Like I meet a lot of vets along the way, and every now and then when I have some issues or treatment issues, I would ask them and they'll be very happy to help. It's a very small industry, so everyone kind of knows everyone and they are pretty much willing to help each other. So meeting people and acquiring good contacts is also quite important, but most of it is just hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard work when you need a forklift license.
Also, having said all this, like, if you could talk to your younger self in poly right now, what would you say to her?
Okay, don't judge me, but I wrote this down. I
Judgment
said,
here.
don't skip too much lectures, and I'll say you enjoy stuff more than you know. When you come up to it gets so stressful. Sometimes I just wish that I could just go back to study, Enjoy the studying and learning process. It's actually very fun, and you never know what. It may seem irrelevant now, but when you come out to work, it will be very relevant to what you do. Yeah.
I guess that's very comforting for all the students.
I hope.
Yeah, we will keep that in mind.
I think that brings us to the end of our interview session, chatting session here. Thank you for being with us today. And it was really a joy talking with you.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a joy answering your questions and bringing back a lot of memories as well.
Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you for watching this episode of Dear Younger Me. We hope you have learned more about the aquarist profession. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we will be posting more videos about other professions.